Hello again. Faceless here. I've been thinking about older civilizations and how some of them did ritual sacrifices. Some were animals, some were children, some were dozens of people at once, ripping out their hearts, life essences, devouring them, becoming empowered by their souls to have their essence. It all leads back to me thinking about the tales of the Wendigo, where it didn't just start off as some kind of physical being, but one that is of spirit that supposedly drags you so fast far along the road, snow, ground, that your feet go on fire. Then they take you up into the air and eventually drop you. Well, my story is more about creatures that were made by humans. Have you ever heard of the term mummy maniac? Yeah, some say it's a really bad movie, but hey, I'm telling you guys now. This next story, I call it the story of the Labyrinthian tomb. I can't really tell you the year or where I'm from, but I can tell you my name is Calvin Stanley. I have been part of an experiment for about 10 years. We're trying to make troops more durable, less hungry. You know, the Germans tried to do that with crystal meth and chocolate drinks. It really didn't end up working because you had soldiers zonked out of their minds, really not knowing what here or there was anymore. No, this is something like steroids. It's so much more vile. It just doesn't change your body, it changes your mind. I'm the only one that has survived the procedure. I did not change so much in body or mind. My weight stays the same, my build stays the same, yet I have the strength of about 10 men, 15 tops. I never did really start taking place in active duty. When I first started the military, it was more of an option. You either serve a minimum of 5 years in the service, or we put you in prison for the rest of your goddamn lives, is what I was told. As there were just not me, but a line of other people who were forced to serve. I said, hey, if all I have to do is be a desk jockey, I might as well just embrace it. The others didn't really think too kindly about that. And, well, turns out that's exactly what I was for about 5 years. Desk jockey after that. Then, one day, I was told that I need to be using my skills for not just the good of paperwork, as they said, but to defend our country with your good old bare hands and the gun that holds it. I wasn't too fond about serving Uncle Sam, but I was already here, so I might as well just play nice, be the good little soldier. Well, what we found deep in the desert was something that you wouldn't believe. We found a cave that was so cold, the further we went in, it started to become isolating. Then we started seeing little bits, little bits of icicles hanging from the ceiling. I warned the men to clear them out because we have any chance of getting stabbed by this would probably be a high probability. And out here, there's really not much help other than what we had, and we could probably bleed to death in seconds, so no one would know the wiser. Well, the further we went, the more carvings we saw of, well, it seemed to be every civilization, going from Roman, Mesopotamian, otherwise known as Sumerians, Egyptian, Mayan, Aztecian, other symbols I can't yet describe, or by the people they were once laid by down for. Um, it's It's rather amazing. We see all this history proving that we were really all connected and came from the same people, and yet we did scatter everywhere. Well, it got less impressive when we kept walking forward. We saw tombs of many different kinds of creatures, not just humans. And we thought, you know what? Let's just blow this place the hell up. We need to get out of here. I think something has been following us all along. I felt eyes on me the whole time, guys. Didn't you feel that? It seemed like that pause in my voice just kept going, going, and going. Like nothing I could say was getting out of my mouth fast enough. Then it's like time came back, and they're like, yeah, I heard what you said. Why is it that I have those eyes on us too? We keep seeing all these different range of creatures, and some don't even look like they're from our Earth. What the hell's going on here? It's not just getting colder, it's starting to smell like rot, but it's like self-perpetuating rot, like something is alive, but rotting all at the same time. I have I have no idea else how to describe this. Neither did any of my men. We just kept walking further and further, weapons drawn. We got gas masks on. We have all our gear ready. We're putting dynamite around all these different kinds of dead creatures. Some look like they're freshly dead. Some look like they've been dead for ages. I took notes of everything we saw. I made sure to take pictures. But then these creatures started moving the further we went down. And I don't mean like a state of animation where they were just repeating the same movement over and over again in place. They were starting to come all after us. These things had dark blue eyes, and they didn't seem to be moving like mummies woken up from an ancient sleep, but like they were conscious, sentient. They knew what they were doing. We started shooting them. They started shooting back with bows, crossbows, slings. It just what we were seeing was impossible to believe. So we kept taking pot shots at them. They would fall apart, turn into dust, and more would come. And so more would come, then more would come. And finally, I was just sick of wasting so much ammo. I told everyone to get their swords out. I said, everybody, set your blades on fire. There's only one way to get rid of this undead, unearthly hatchery, and it's going to be with blades, with flame, and the clashing of steel. After what seemed like hours, we finally cut all these things into pieces and respectfully sent them back to the hell they came from. I had to get to the last room, the throne, whatever was on there. We had to definitely deactivate this signal and destroy this property. It wasn't a cave any longer. It looked more like an institution. But an institution in such an ancient, bygone style where everything was very rudimentary. The further we even went, there were different kinds of bones. Bones I couldn't even fathom how they would even work, alone in some living being. Everything meticulously wrapped up in different colored bandages that seemed to have different scents. We started setting all of them ablaze. I wasn't taking any chances. We had our gas masks on. We made sure there was ways to vent out this so it wouldn't go into the nature. But I can say that there won't be a few casualties once we go back outside. Finally, we get into the main antechamber, which goes into the throne room. The throne is empty, except for a few bits of skeletal remains, just bits and pieces of bones, not exactly a full skeleton. We see half of the jawbone, some teeth, what looks like might have been the, I guess you could say the nose connected to the eye bone, eye hole, however you want to call it. Um, it didn't just show evidence of someone just dying naturally. Somebody was somebody was smashed to death on here. It seems we're finding a little bit of piece of got some femurs, a little bit of the leg bones, finger bones. Nothing complete. On the side of the throne, there was this majestic-looking axe. Seems like it was slammed in there, doing whatever deed it did to the one that sat on this throne. I immediately picked it up, and I heard the loudest scream. All of us heard the loudest scream ever, like something bellowing deep below, something that should have never been awakened. Well, it came up, and it came up fast. Scales clinging, rotted scales clinging to bone, yet regenerating. Giant dorsal plates, very, very angry. Silken like eyes, maybe like a fog within it. Not exactly groggy, but something, some devilish intelligence. I was just livid at this point. I told everybody to get their hatchets out, great axes. I grabbed onto this axe, and I ran and I jumped and I slammed right between this thing's eyes. I heard another loud bellow, as now there was tendrils coming out of its mouth, trying to devour me. I started hacking away at them, as did my men. Systematically, we were cutting scales off, ripping pieces of its flesh off of the scales that came with it, setting the insides on fire, making sure to burn the intestines, the smell of ever festering disease. I finally got to behead the creature, and before you know it, another head was starting to grow. I jammed the rest of our complimentary, or you can say complement, of ammo, weapons, and a big cask of gunpowder I brought. I said, to hell with it. To hell with this research. To hell with the military. To hell with these doctors. We're burning it all down. And I'm along with it. Get out of here. None of these things need to exist. Hope you remembered that I am the last survivor of an experiment gone awry. We know I'm a ticking time bomb. Set the charges and do what you have to do. I don't regret anything.